The most marketable player in the world finally has a new home. Skills, dribbling, goals. The guy can do everything. And at 25, he secured his career dream move. But just how good is Kylian Mbappe? Mbappe was born in Bondy in France, in a special year too, 1998. The year France finally went all the way for the first time in the country's history. They won the World Cup on home soil, and Mbappe was born too. It felt like it was his destiny to get involved in sports from early on. His dad, Wilfried, was a former professional footballer who turned into a coach. His mom, Faiza Lamri, used to be a handball player back in the day, and he even had a half-brother who was already playing football too. Mbappe's journey to the game began in Bondy, where he received coaching lessons from his dad, and he quickly became so good that he fulfilled the ultimate mark of turning pro in France. The Clairefontaine Academy. The academy was reserved for only the best in the country. Any kid who got in was almost bound to go pro, just like Thierry Henry and Nicolas Anelka back in the day. After he was done with Clairefontaine, Mbappe came into a market of clubs waiting to sign him, and the first one of the lot were these guys, Real Madrid. They'd heard about his talent early on, and after watching him play, they decided they wanted him in-house. Mbappe went to Spain on trial at Madrid, played in the club's youth teams, and even got to meet his idol Cristiano Ronaldo and take that iconic photo. And after that, he was off to England next. Chelsea was the destination. They offered him a trial match to play with the under-14s, but in a shocking twist, they passed him over because they didn't think he was that talented. Ouch. Still, Mbappe continued his grind, and by the time 2014 rolled over, he was all set for his time in the spotlight. Mbappe signed his first professional contract with Monaco in the same year, and because of how good he was, he quickly moved up the ranks. Fast forward to October 2015, and he was already one of the best young kids on the planet. By making his debut here against Monaco, Mbappe became the youngest player to feature for Monaco at 16 years and 347 days, breaking a French legend's record from 1994, Thierry Henry. Mbappe wasn't just about the hype that season, and by the time February rolled around, he was off. The kid had become so good that Monaco already knew he would be a superstar someday, so they gave him a contract renewal in March. 2016-17 rolled around, and Mbappe exploded. 42 games, 28 goals, and 17 assists, and he was still only 17. Mbappe's breakthrough season came with a lot. His 15 goals and 11 assists helped Monaco win the league and catch PSG by surprise. And in the Champions League, he scored against teams like Manchester City, Borussia Dortmund, and Juventus to help Monaco reach a Champions League semifinal for the first time since 2004. On the international scene, he was already making waves at the youth level. He scored 5 goals in the under-19 Euros, and by 2017, he'd already made his debut with Les Bleus. Mbappe was making big strides in the game, and by the time summer rolled around, he was ready for the next chapter of his career. PSG. The deal with PSG was groundbreaking. It made him become the second most expensive player of all time, and the most expensive teenager in the world. 2017 just felt like the year he took over. He wasted no time getting off the mark for his new club, and by December, he was officially the best young player on the planet. The Golden Boy Award secured. Mbappe's first season in PSG was impressive. He had 21 goals and 16 assists in all competitions, 7 goals and assists in 8 Champions League games. The stats were one thing, but his performances on the pitch? Oof. He was easily beating fullbacks, and his versatility meant he could play anywhere across the pitch. Mbappe was also making himself a first-team regular at this point, and in the final matches before the World Cup that summer, he was immense. I'll break this down a bit. France played 7 international matches that season, including the likes of Germany, Italy, and the USA. And in every game, Mbappe managed at least an assist in every one. With a goal contribution in 7 consecutive games, there's no way Deschamps can leave him back home. Mbappe was on the plane to Russia, and once his feet touched that grass, he was on another level. Owned Argentina and Messi, and in the final against Croatia, he made history. See, by scoring in the final, he became the first player since Pelé in 1958 to achieve the mark. Mbappe's 4 goals almost won him the Young Player of the Tournament award. He won the Young Player of the Year award in the league that season too. And by the time 2018-19 came around, Mbappe was a different beast. The world knew he could score goals, but that season, he took it to another level. His partner in attack Neymar was always almost injured, and he took the opportunity to step up and deliver. He won the Golden Boot that season in Ligue 1 with a career-high 33 goals, was voted as the player of the season, won the league too, and impressed all around with his game and general performance. On a collective level though, Mbappe and PSG had plans of one day winning the Champions League, and in 2019-20, they got the perfect chance. Mbappe was on a roll in the competition. With 5 goals and 6 assists, PSG was in a Champions League final for the first time in the club's history. But sadly, they lost out 1-0 to Bayern Munich. And that might just have been the turning point, because Mbappe continued to improve. But deep down, he knew his time at the club was no longer a guarantee. By the time 2020-21 ended, Mbappe was already considering his future. He'd score over 100 goals for the club, had won the league 3 times, and won as many Golden Boot awards. The guy had balled out. He had nothing more to prove from a personal standpoint, and with 1 year left on his contract, it looked like it was time to finally make the move that would take his career to another level. Real Madrid, and they were ready for him. The move just seemed to make sense both ways. Mbappe was rapidly transforming into one of the best players in the world. Madrid wanted a fix post-Ronaldo. Hazard wasn't working out, and Mbappe could go a team that knew how to win big in the one competition that was missing from his collection. They had 2 bids sent in for him, $150 million and $180 million, but PSG rejected both. And when Real Madrid sent in a final bid of $200 million, it should have sealed the deal. He had just 1 year left and was at risk of leaving for free. But yet, the club rejected it. And by January, Mbappe dropped a huge announcement. He was staying at PSG. Mbappe's level just showed how good he was now. The club was willing to do everything to keep him. The 3-year contract was just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath, Mbappe was so much more. As part of the deal of his new term with the club, Mbappe was going to get an executive role at the club, meaning he'd have a say in the players he left the team should add, or the ones he wanted them to release. Add this to a wage deal of more than $1 million a week and a $250 million signing-on fee for the duration of his contract, and he'd secure the bag of a lifetime. The Mbappe contract renewal was more than just signing paperwork. Even the president of France got involved in trying to make him stay. And in the end, Mbappe agreed. With his contract out of the way now, Mbappe's new mission was to take PSG to the top of European football. In the round of 16, they got drawn against Real Madrid, and he won the game with seconds left. In the second leg, it was a repeat of the same thing on a personal level. He balled out, scored once, and had 2 goals disallowed for offside. But in the end, Karim Benzema's hat-trick knocked PSG out. Disappointing for Mbappe. He'd expected so much, especially after PSG had added Lionel Messi to the team. That season, it was the same domestic success. Another league title, a Golden Boot award, and the Player of the Season award too. At the end of the year, Mbappe switched his focus to France. They were set to defend their trophy in Qatar, and his 4 goals in the competition helped them to a final against Argentina in the most epic final in World Cup history. 2-0 down with less than 15 minutes to play, scored a penalty 4 minutes back, and slammed home this golazo. Mbappe was on fire. He scored another penalty in extra time to complete the hat trick and take the game to penalties after a 3-3 draw. But unfortunately, his teammates couldn't match his energy, and France lost the shootout on pens. Still, Mbappe had made a case for himself. With back-to-back World Cup final goals at 23 and won the World Cup Golden Boot too, he now proven that he was made for the big stages. Back to club football now, and 2022-23 was a repeat of the same thing. Failed to impress in the European competitions, but dominated the league. And it was the season after when things imploded for Mbappe and PSG. In the summer, the relationship between both of them went in smoke. As part of the deal he signed in 2022, it was a 2-year contract with the option to renew for another year, a gentleman's agreement. But contrary to what they thought, Mbappe didn't want to renew. He wanted out. The club couldn't let him leave for free, so they suspended him from first-team football, only for him to get called back into the team later, and he went on a roll. From a single club season, this was the best one of his career. 44 goals and 10 assists in 48 games for PSG. Took the team to a Champions League semi-final too. Just before the season ended, Mbappe made the announcement that he honestly should have left 2 years back. He was going to be leaving PSG after 7 years. To put it into perspective, he owned his time at the club. PSG's record goal scorer, he broke the record last season with 256 goals in 308 appearances. Despite the fact that he only spent 6 years at the club, it's mind-blowing. Mbappe's influence was also shown in the league itself. After he left, Ligue 1 has still not been able to find a broadcaster for the upcoming season. Mbappe's gone and no one wants to watch. He's a global figure, on and off the pitch. Marketing deals with brands like Nike and Hublot, face of projects from UNICEF. On the field, he's a monster. Current captain of the French national team at 25. His goals and assists don't even tell just how good he is. His pace in behind opposition lines make him an assist. He can easily switch up and catch opponents off guard. He's the complete attacker and has even subscribed to Goal Zone 2. No wonder PSG did everything to keep him.